So when I talk about lab work, you often hear me talk about the standard ranges, and then there's optimum ranges. The standard ranges is what your lab's going to report to you. I go over a lot about why that standard range is not the best way to go about things, but that standard range, you're going to see your lab work is somewhere between 20 and 48 for most labs, okay? It can change from one lab to another depending on those labs' ranges, but most labs are going to report somewhere between 20 and 48 as being a standard range. There is an optimum range. That is a range where things are perfect, where we're not moving in the direction of disease one way or another, okay? Those numbers are 24% to 35%. So instead of 20 to 48, we have 24 to 35, okay? That's an optimum range for transferrin saturation percent. So if your percentage is too high or too low, what can you do to change it? Well, first of all, you really want to make sure that your iron levels are being checked. There are so many factors that go into the quantity and quality of your red blood cells, as well as your red blood cells' ability to carry oxygen. There's so many factors that contribute to that. Eating healthy and well, like if you have an iron overload, well, if I had an iron overload, if I looked at this and my percentage of saturation was too low, my iron levels were too high, I would look at dietary consumption of that. I'd look through all the things that I eat on a regular basis and start cutting out those things that are high in iron. I'd look at my supplement bottle and say, am I taking 4 different supplements that all have iron in it? Most people don't need that much iron. If your iron levels are too low, you're gonna need to get your iron levels up, okay? Getting a heme iron or a superior based iron is gonna be the best way to increase your iron levels without impacting your gut as much, because iron can be hard on your gut. It can cause you to have constipation, which nobody wants. So the primary thing you're gonna be able to do to increase or decrease your iron percentage is going to be the consumption of iron one way or another. You're getting too much or too little. Now, your bone marrow is what produces your red blood cells, and there are a lot of other categories, there are a lot of other factors that go into the creation of proper red blood cell health. Okay, so the quantity and quality of the red blood cells. B vitamins is a big one, so this factors into it. If we're talking about your iron levels, your vitamin C level can make a difference in your iron levels. If you're really deficient in vitamin C, it's going to be very hard for you to absorb iron from your diet. There's lots of things to consider in this. Primarily they're going to be dietary consumption of it and nutrients, good or bad, if you're getting enough or not enough of certain nutrients that can increase or decrease your absorption of iron from your diet. If you have poor gut health, that's going to be a factor in this. Lots of people, they have no idea that this is happening, but they're taking too much ibuprofen, and it's causing microscopic bleeding in their gut, and they're losing blood from their gut, causing them to be anemic. Right? So these are things that are a factor in the quantity and quality of your red blood cells. Taking ibuprofen is just one example of that. This is why it's so important that you're getting an extensive and proper lab panel done at least once a year, maybe even twice a year, because your doctor is usually only going to run something called a chem panel. It's about 20 different markers, and a CBC, which is complete blood count. Now, a lot of things come back on that complete blood count related to anemia, but those two things alone are not going to look at this. He's not going to run your iron markers on a regular basis. You're not going to look at vitamin D on a regular basis. Probably not going to look at other vitamins on a regular basis. Not going to look at thyroid hormones on a regular basis. There's so many other markers that need to be checked, and they all factor one against the other, which means one thing impacts another thing. So if you're not looking at things as a whole, and then also looking at the optimum levels, you really could be missing a lot of things that are causing you to feel bad, number one, or not thrive, number two.